So I have a question, and I don't know if it's been addressed because I know you guys missed me last week. But did we ever talk about damp January versus dry January?
Yes,
We
we
did.
did talk about it.
Well, I want to add my 2 cents in here. So damp January is for people who just have no morals. Damp January is for people who just said, "Hey, I want the easy way out. I want to have my cake and eat it too, but I want to be included in the conversation." Because some people are disciplined. Some people say, "Hey, I'm not going to do something," and they don't do it. They stick to what they say. Then you have other people who's like, "Well, maybe it's a Friday. I have plans to go out. Maybe I can just have one, but like that's the only time I'm drinking until next week. I have another party on the Thursday, so I'll drink then too. But then also the Super Bowl's Friday, or Sunday, so I gotta drink then too. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Bowl this week.
No, the
No.
Super Bowl. The Super Bowl's in February. But the point I'm trying to make here is that I think damp January is a cop out. Catherine, I'm sure you agree.
I was just thinking that we really missed you last week in the podcast.
Well, sometimes you need a moderator. Like, I'm here to make sure that I give you a hard time every once in a while and keep Jermaine off the topic of eating ass because there's a lot of eating ass going on last week. And you know what? I feel left out. I feel like I missed out on the salad being tossed. So, like, Jermaine, what do you have to say for yourself for excluding me from such an adventure?
Look, man, I'm sorry, bro. Look, I had to. I just had to ask the hard questions. Like, since when did we go from choking to eating ass? Welcome to the Unsolicited Counseling Podcast. We're your hosts back again. I'm your boy Jermaine,
This is Martin.
And I'm Catherine.
and what a way to start us off. And Martin, yes, we missed you. You keep us on the rails. You keep us. Well, I'll speak for myself. You keep me in line. You keep the podcast moving. You know, I can spend like hours just talking about like tossing salad and what a back shot is and what's the best position, prone or arch. Like we can have a whole episode on modern day Kama Sutra is way better than
All
like
right.
the old book.
Well, I'll see you guys next week.
No. That's for the
I am
Patreon.
done with this episode. It's off the rails already. And speaking of Karma Sutra, you just got back from yoga. How was that? Is that not the same thing? I'm sorry. I really don't know. This is an ignorance question on my part. Karma Sutra and yoga, aren't they like related in some way?
I don't know.
No? Really?
I don't think so. No. I think you just think that because the word karma.
Is it karma or comma?
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, okay.
I'm not dirty, filthy like you guys.
Okay.
I felt like that was racially motivated.
Wait.
I am offended because we are dark skinned. We're dirty. Wow.
Okay, to be clear, that was not what I was saying at all.
Says the girl who just came back from
Podcast
yoga.
over.
Says the girl who came from yoga. Came from yoga, is sweaty, and she has the audacity to insult us.
Do not put that out there for the public.
Look, all I can say is both of y'all worked out. I didn't. So for real, both of y'all are sweaty. Well, all I'm saying is I feel like it's close because yoga requires flexibility. Most of the Kama Sutra positions require flexibility. Anyways, okay. Other than we talk about this, we're talking about flexibility, stretching. Y'all were here last episode. We talked about cults. This one we're gonna go about a little bit wholesome. I know earlier it was not wholesome at all. Shield your kids' ears if they heard it. I'm sorry. You should have saw the 18 plus rating. Today we're talking about how do you know you're home, and we're not talking about like damn man, I just pulled up to my house. Wait, it's not my house. We're talking about where do you feel at like your place where you can call home. Cause like as we were talking about earlier, probably off like before we got on the podcast, we were talking about how like when you're in your 20s, it's kind of you trying to figure yourself out, going through like traveling, whatever. And when you're 30s, like finding places that where you can settle down, or at least for a part of a chapter in your life. So that's what we're going to talk about today, because I feel like that's important. Like at this point, people are settling down or deciding, do they want to live in an air, what is it called, airstream, and travel. Some people doing tiny houses and like little small school buses and stuff
Wait,
like that.
what's an airstream?
I don't know. It's like a trailer, right? Like
It sounds like you made it up,
it's
and
not. Look, bro,
you're
you can
just
look
trying
it up.
to keep the. You're like, I need to keep talking. What do I say? Airstream.
Fill the space. Fill the space. No, it's like a little trailer, like
Okay.
or like RV, whatever. But it's a. I'm getting gaslit.
No,
Anyway, that's what we're talking about today.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to come for you like that.
You
But
remember we said we missed you, Martin?
I can acknowledge that in my 20s, I feel like I was just kind of going with the flow. That's what I'm gonna call airstreaming. I just kind of figured out where I wanted to be at the time of my life, and I was like, I mean, we talked about this already in the pod before, but I remember I had paid off my student loans, and I was like, it's time to go to my house. Jermaine, we should come look at this place. Nah, I think I'm gonna go look at this place where my girlfriend lives. I was like, all right, bet. So I'm moving by myself. And that's just, he was just like, wait, you moved in without me? I was like, yeah, man, you took too long. But that's kind of what got me into Tyson's. I wanted to be far away from home, far enough away from home where I couldn't get checked on, but close enough to where if I needed to get somewhere, get home, I can get there really quickly. And, you know, I had no money. I was just trying to be an adult, try to rush that process. And in doing so, I think it helped me grow to the person I am today because a lot of mistakes, a lot of a lot of money moves that I should have made, a lot of money moves that I shouldn't have made, a lot of debt. I kind of I had to figure out life really quickly because I didn't want to be homeless or struggling and stuff like that. So it also made me have to push for a better job and just keep on growing and grinding and networking. And, you know, when I got to my late 20s, I met my wife, and then we kind of moved over here to Rockville where we're close to family and far away from friends. So I kind of miss you guys, to be honest with you, but it's functional for having family around right now, so it's good.
I mean, it's actually a pretty good. It's actually cheaper than living in fucking Virginia up here. But I do want to go back, and I want us to. I want to hear from both of you guys in college, right? And listeners, if you know went to college, or if you've been in a smaller area or whatever, and you feel like I gotta stay here, I got a question for you guys. After y'all were leaving college, at least for me, like I got offered to like stay in the college town, like get a job there and stuff. What made you like? One, did you guys get offered to like, hey, like you'll be a great fit here? Like, would you want to stay? Like, what made you like have that thought process of like, A, I'm gonna stay here. B, I'm gonna go back home. Or C, I'm gonna travel somewhere else. Because I feel like that was like the first like the flashpoint after you decided to go to the college. Because that's even another level to it. Why choose a college so far away from home? You know, because we're picking homes after we leave the house. But that's probably another episode or for extra to talk about why we chose Randolph. But what made you, or did you have that opportunity to stay in our college town? Either Catherine or Martin first. Don't jump like to it. Like Catherine, I choose you.
No, I didn't have an opportunity to stay. I originally was planning on going to New York after college, and I'll like kick myself every day for not doing that.
Mm.
Um,
Can you elaborate on like why you thought about going to New York?
I was a dance major, and so I was planning on going to New York for like, I don't know, live the dance dream, auditions, and be in the city and stuff.
Okay. Okay.
Have
And
you
then
ever
so what?
went back to visit New York, or just been up there just to see what life would be like up there, or is it just now out of the question? You don't really want to be in that environment anymore.
Yeah, I want different things now. Um,
Mm,
it's missed opportunity, but I think that things work out how they're supposed to. So
power yoga, man.
Yeah,
No, like that's interesting.
yeah. I guess I can speak from the standpoint that I did have an offer to work at the college after I graduated. I was supposed to take over for AD for
wait, Y'all both had offers to stay and work at the college?
Not at the college. I was supposed to work somewhere around the
No.
college.
Okay.
I had office work at the college because I was such an influential person. It's super
Oh
helpful.
yeah.
So I was offered to become the MAC coordinator for the college and take that role over. The reason why I didn't go through with it, it was multifaceted. The first reason was I was dating someone at the college. And I was like, this is a bad thing to be working there and dating someone, even though some people did it. Not going to name names.
I mean,
But
literally shoot him in the foot, bro. Like,
like that, but I didn't want to be a part of that. The other thing was I just had this feeling that if I stayed in college town, I would stay college me, and I had this, I guess, self hate of who I was in college. I started like developing these thoughts that I didn't want to continue to be this person. I wanted to reinvent myself. And I think that kind of comes with the different homes and places you move. Like you start creating a new version of yourself. You find out you're still trying to figure out who you are. Like we were in our early 20s. No one knew who we were. We thought we knew. We thought we were the shit. And then we were like, oh, fuck. Like I don't have this thing called life figured out. And life just keeps evolving and changing. And, just like the seasons are changing. Speaking of the seasons, Jermaine, how was your trip into the office today?
bro, it was so brick. It was so cold and like, because with all the snow here up in Northern Virginia, like on the East Coast, it was crazy. A lot of like people don't know how to drive in this area at all. And then my boss was like, "All right, man, look, I need y'all to come in and show face." They weren't there. They weren't there. They were like, oh, okay, you need to show face. They were not there. I talk about piss, bro. And I was like, if my direct manager's not here, I'm gonna flip this mechanical table. I'm gonna flip it. And luckily she was there, but bro, it's something about like we have the option to work from home. Why can't I work from home? Anyways, bro, I'm not even gonna go on. Like, how was your day, Brian?
Oh man, my day was stressful. It's getting busy. It's getting really busy on the work front. I have these projects I need to get out and get finished. I have to start going back into the office really soon to work on that project where I'm spending like 16 hours a week just sitting in a dark room essentially to look at some stuff. I'm really not looking forward to that. So I'm hoping for an out here somehow, some way, saying like, "Oh, I'm sick," or
My
take
knee.
vacation. I've been taking a lot of vacation. That's like one of my saving graces. Like I have the trip to Jacksonville planned in 3 weeks to run the marathon. So that's gonna give me a nice little break from work that I can't wait to take. Like I'm not, and it's weird because I'm not excited about the marathon anymore. I just want to get it over with so I can drink. So there might be something to damp January to where you don't really feel like you need to binge drinking. I don't think I'm gonna binge it, but I'm definitely going to have a couple drinks to celebrate the fact that I ran 26.2 miles on that Sunday.
Don't
Um,
drink it too fast, you might throw up.
I learned that lesson already. But one of the other things that I did want to call out about this time I had away, I spent a lot of time with my niece who was in town. The first time I got to meet her, and I was just like, every time I hung out with her, I was like, I want to spend more time with her. Like she's just so loving and just her personality is great. She's just so curious and she wants to hug and she wants to like touch your face and whatever babies do that stuff, right? And she's like 9 months or so, so she's still trying to figure stuff out. But something really weird that I did this weekend that I don't think I know I've never done, but I wonder if you guys have ever done. Have you ever had to clean an oven?
An oven?
Have you ever cleaned your oven?
Yes.
How do you clean an oven?
Press the button.
How do you clean your oven, Catherine?
There's like stuff that you have to put inside of there,
And then?
and then you push a button, and it just like cooks for hours and hours and hours.
Oh,
So,
you gotta make sure you take all that shit out, bro, because that shit will melt. That's still in your underneath, like the warmer.
oh, for sure. So I didn't know all that. I saw the button and then I did some research and I was like, all right, if I hit the self clean button, what happens? And they were like, the oven's gonna get up to 800 degrees and it's gonna like burn off everything. You're gonna have to wipe down after the fact. There might be some smoke that comes into your apartment or into your house, but like just it's okay. It's just doing the job, doing the process. The issue that I have with doing that is every time we used the oven prior to me cleaning it, it was just smoke coming out, like something spilled on the ground, and it would cause the fire alarms to go off and or the smoke detector to go off. It was pissing me off. So I was like, I can't do that route because it's just going to be smoke all over the apartment. The fire alarm's going to go off. We're going to have to go outside and evacuate. So I literally got hand and feet scrubbing the entire thing to get everything off the inside of it. It was horrible. I don't recommend it. And this is why I don't think anyone should have to clean anything in the world. They should just live life dirty. Oven shouldn't be cleaned. Laundry detergent. I mean, I don't know if you clean what do you call it? A washing machine? You can clean those too. Did you know that?
No.
Did you not know that? Because I
No,
didn't
I
know
didn't
that.
know that.
You're supposed to
Boys
clean
live
your
such
washing
a
machine.
simple life.
It's the washing machine.
It cleans
Yeah.
itself.
No, you have to clean like the little gasket and everything all around it and get all the like buildup out of it.
How often do you do this?
I don't know. I'm a clean person. So.
So remember at the
Strike
top of
two.
the episode, we were called dirty. Okay.
Kidding. Sorry, I got really upset that you guys don't know how to do all that stuff.
I don't know this, man. Like, no one's telling me this. Even when I was living with my ex a while ago, she told me how to clean everything else. Never had to. Look, I can check out a dryer sheet. Not sheet. What the fuck is it called? The lint trap. I knew that. I didn't know that growing up, though.
Oh my God, Catherine, how are you doing? How was your day?
How was my day? I am currently dog sitting, so there are 3 dogs and just me here.
Really?
Yeah. We went on a walk earlier, and so many people stopped me, and they're like, "You got your hands full there."
How big are the dogs? Other than Bodie, I know how big Bodie is, but how big are the other dogs?
Bodie size.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a good amount. Like, that's a good amount of like dogs pulling you.
Yeah. Other than that, worked from home. I have a good story for later for you guys. I did like a yoga teacher training thing this past weekend. Ties into our cult episode.
Perfect.
Man.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, I love hearing that.
I'm a little low energy, a little tired, but good.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. So with that, I do want to ask Catherine, because I know you went through, even though you're low energy, I know you just got your lease, set up your lease for your new place, and so with these transitional periods in your life, like, what made you decide to? Because you've moved a couple of places. Like, what made you want to move to this new place? Is it just like new chapter or like?
Yeah.
I can hear Bodie.
Yeah, they want dinner. um. Yeah, I've been like searching for where home is for me, and I have a lot of different factors that I feel like I like had to consider through a lot of self growth on that journey lately. So, like, I guess to elaborate more, being a constant people pleaser, I've always wanted other people to like support my ideas or like them or approve of them, or especially family. I've wanted to be like close to family because I thought that that would like improve our relationship or make them like love me more. um, and I haven't really done anything that's like for me. And so finally, when I've been thinking about going here for a really long time, and I knew I wanted to, and then when this particular house showed up, I was like, oh, it's perfect. It's for me. And it feels good, but it's definitely scary because it's very different. And it was the first time that I was like, it doesn't really matter if other people say this is a good idea or not. I know that this is a good idea for me right now. So, yeah.
That's powerful, man. That's really powerful.
Yeah.
Cause
It made me
I
happy. It made me happy to hear that you were going to do something for yourself because we talk off the podcast often, and I've always been like, hey, sometimes you gotta do something for yourself. You can't always please other people and
Mm-hmm.
do what they want you to do. Sometimes you gotta look out for number one because your mental health is more important than everything else around you. And in my opinion, that's how I live my life. I gotta make sure that I'm right so I can help everybody else be right. So
Right.
the fact that you decided to take that chance and move somewhere different that you've already vetted, that you love the area, that you can build a life out there. Like it's super exciting. Those factors that you called out, like I think those all kind of led you to where you are today. And you're a stronger person. I'm like glowing because I've seen your growth over these times, and it just makes me happy.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm really excited. And he said, especially making the decision, you're never stuck anywhere. Like, I've broken leases before. If you're unhappy, you can get yourself out of anything.
All
So
right.
it's
So
trying.
for the listeners, aka me as well, how do you go about breaking a lease? Like, and how bad does it hurt your pockets? I think that's the biggest thing because I got like landlords or apartment complexes. Like I left my old place just because I was like I need to get out of the space. Like it was just not good for my mental health, and I still paid the lease for it because the apartment complex was like if you break it you have to pay the remainder like upfront, and I'm like. Nah, but speaking of what we talked about earlier, 20s, bad business decisions. I was like, yo, bro, I'll rather like do this month to month, try to figure this shit out. It hurts less to do it that way than bringing up the whole uh, like everything up front. So what is the breaking the lease process? Because I know a lot of people ask those questions. And I have people ask me that, and I'm like, I don't know. You got to pay it out of pocket. So
I've never lived in an apartment complex. So,
okay, step
uh,
one: don't live in an apartment complex.
yeah, I don't like those like big management companies. I've always rented from like landlords and I've gone to them and asked like basically been like, I want to leave today. What's your counter offer?
Right.
And I've like helped in the process of like finding someone to take over my lease and stuff.
Okay. So it's kind of like pseudo subleasing without subleasing.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah, I
Cool.
mean, I can see that the independent landlords, their biggest deal is like making sure they still have money coming in.
Yeah.
So they're like, once we find somebody new, like you're off the hook. But until then, you're stuck here. But I do remember that caused some issues for you in the moving process, where you didn't really. It was your space, but it wasn't your space because they were trying to sell this place space. Yeah, have you told that story on the podcast?
Me?
Yeah.
No, that was awful. That was a terrible time. Talk about your early 20s.
Yeah, tell me about that.
I had the worst landlord in the entire planet. She was crazy. The circuit breaker like box was broken in my apartment, so no power, no refrigerator, no lights, no power at all. And she left me like that for 3 days and told me it wasn't cold outside, so I'd be fine.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she was the worst. Crazy. But she put the apartment up for sale while I was living in it and didn't tell me about it. And people kept coming in, like having showings while I was living there.
Oh my god.
Oh, it was awful. They would just show up and she'd be like, okay, you have to go outside now. We're showing the apartment.
That has to be illegal. That has to be.
What state were you in at the time?
South Carolina.
Oh, it's probably like completely legal. It's like
Anything goes here.
anything in Virginia
At will.
down, anything goes. Florida, bruh, don't even like you can do anything in Florida, but
I have never been to Florida. That's actually I'm excited to go out there in a couple weeks. So I'll let you guys know how it is. If it's like grimy, if people are just assholes. I don't know. That's the Santa's area, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean you'll see some alligators, bro. Like it's all good.
Hey, shout out to the Florida Gators.
Yeah, Florida Gators. Yeah.
It's gonna be a
So
good
I
time.
mean, I do think with my experience in moving and traveling, like first it was like similar to Catherine. Like decided to go. Well, one, like Martin said, I was like, well, I'm trying to move closer to my girlfriend at the time because I even paid more money for a place to her just to break up with me within like a month after like I moved in, and I was stuck with that lease for 18 months. So
No way.
yeah, yeah, it's bad. So I mean, that then transitioned to me moving somewhere else, but I don't know what made me stay in this area. Well, I do know. I have friends here and I like the area. I like the things about the area because I was looking at moving into Philly, New York. I don't know why New York. And then I looked at the prices and I was like, I'm not fucking crazy. One, I've never been to a big city. The biggest city I've been ever in is Philadelphia. So I was like, that's not happening. And then I was like, okay, maybe North Carolina. So I had options, but something drew me here. And I think another thing of like finding your place in your home, if you do decide like to stay in one spot, is the vibe. Like, what's the feeling? Like, how do you feel about this area? Like, because you can be in a place where it's like, even in a city, like even in the DMV area that we live in, there's some places I would never live, bro. I would never live there, but some people cool with it.
You telling
Um,
me you would never move and live in Southeast DC?
I thought about it. Like honestly, it would have got me when I first
Cheap
moved
rent.
here.
Cheap rent. You can
It's cheap,
afford
real
it.
$500 for a room. I was like, no, no. When we first moved here in 2000, and I first moved in 2016, I was like, hey yo, bro, these joints cheap, bro. It's like $300 a month. Like utilities included, say less.
Uh,
But you know, like
no wait, because I remember you showed it to me like, why don't we live here? It's in DC. We're right next to the bars. It'll be cool. I was like, bro, we're not gonna make it to our second month. What are you talking about? We're not gonna make it.
I was fearless back then. Not gonna lie, like I was like, I don't care, bro. I live wherever, and now I'm like, man, I was gonna live in Annandale, like parts of Annandale, and that's rough. And I'm like, now like they getting like shot up. Anyways, that's a whole different conversation. But that being said, like I feel like each phase of where you move, like it either are you dictating for yourself, are you following somebody else, you know, those are the big things. And I felt like for me, after that first move, I was like, okay, what is my next move? And try not to be a people pleaser and doing what I want to do. And it's hard, especially when you're so close, if you're close to family or you felt like this people pleasing mentality, like, oh, I need to be close to family. Oh, I need to not move away from my friends and stuff like that. You gotta, I know with Martin, like you had, you were living with our boy Chris for a while and you're like,
Mhm.
nope, it's the move. I'm out. Like,
No, honestly, living with a roommate was great for me. I didn't have a bad experience. Well, there were some rough times there where I had more than one roommate, and that was weird. Uh, and that roommate wasn't paying rent, which was weird for a little bit. Um,
I am 100% with you. Like,
yeah, but aside from that moment, it was a great time having a roommate. Because one, he was dating someone, so a lot of times he just wasn't there, so it kind of felt like I was living by myself. But being in that environment and seeing how much money I was saving was great. But then I decided to move in with my wife, my now wife, and it was just like it's time for a commitment. I need to make a change. And one of the things you guys didn't mention about picking a place to live is like I moved kind of sort of for my job too. Like
mm.
making sure that wherever I move is convenient for my work. I know that Catherine, you work remotely, and man, you just like driving. I guess I don't know, but
Look, the next move is gonna be next to a metro. You're gonna be metro into my crib. Like that is
oh,
100% happening because this shit for the birds. The only reason I did it is because metro like is so expensive living next to a metro unless you're on the other side of the red line. Like,
it's. I mean, luckily, the job helps me a little bit with that, but the metro. I mean, living on a metro is like my biggest thing. I was like, I want to have ease of commute to get to work, and the best way for me to do that is to live right next to or close to a metro line. I did it when I was in Tyson's. and I did it when I was here too, because I hated like going out at night and clubbing and like having to Uber and spend like hundreds of dollars to get from DC to where I live. So it was like whether either you spend more money to live in the city, or and you like commute on an Uber is like 20-30 bucks, or you live like near a metro and you just plan to leave the clubs at like 11 o'clock. Like the clubs just get good and you just like nice. All right, I'm heading out.
Yeah, Metro close at 12. Gotta go.
You know, and that's an underrated part of being in your 30s because I don't want us to be out late. Like there's nothing out here for me. I love saying, hey, let's go to dinner, let's order a bottle of wine, and let's drink, eat, and then be home by 10:30. Chef's kiss. I would love to do that. Anytime someone would say, let's do that, I'm like, I'm in. Let's go. Well, not this month because I stick to my dry January. But anyway, yeah, picking where you live is and there's a lot of things you look into. The other part for me, I think I mentioned earlier, was I wanted to stay near family.
Yeah.
Because after losing my father, it was like a big thing where I was like, all right, I don't know how many more years I'm going to have with my mom, so I want to make sure that if she needs something, I can get to her relatively quickly. Granted, I'm not any closer distance wise, driving wise, to my mom than I was in Tyson's, but it's still like relatively convenient to get there. Also, I'm wearing this hat. It says Eastern State Penitentiary, and I want to give a shout out because 4 years ago today, my grandmother passed away, and Jermaine and I went to
That's
Philadelphia, as
right.
you mentioned, and we had a good old time. So shout out to 4 years ago Martin for picking up this hat and having a good time, and shout out to old Jermaine for just picking me up from the funeral. I feel like, or I don't remember how that went.
Basically, yeah, you were like, it was pick me up. Literally, you were just out the funeral and I picked you up and we went and we drove to Philly.
I was like, fuck it, let's go.
Fuck it, let's go.
Let's go. Let's get out of here. I gotta disassociate real quick. So, but yeah, I just wanted to call out that. But yeah, family, job, and just being close-ish to friends. Like I do miss. I think that's one of the things that I kind of regret is I moved further away from friends. When I was in Tyson's, you were like what 10 minutes, 15 minutes down the road, if that. I mean, you work where I used to live, basically.
Yeah.
So it was like super convenient. But now it's a little bit harder to hang out. But if you have good friends and you like make sure that if you want to be a part of someone's life, you'll make that effort. You know how they always say, if he wanted to, he would type thing, or if she wanted to, she would. That toxic people say when they're dating, whatever. It's like if you want to do the wood. So the fact that me and you make an effort to go hang out with each other, the fact that me and you, Catherine, we're texting and making sure that we're on the podcast and we're catching up, like it's important and it makes a difference. So that's my 3 cents.
No, the dogs. I think we're getting the cue from the dogs. Like it's time to wrap it up. So, so guys, like we spent this period of time. We wanted to just talk about homes where you like what made you choose the place. The dog is so mad. Look, I'm trying to wrap it up, bro. You're not letting me finish.
Sorry.
What guy? No, not you. Not you. I'm talking about the dog. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Are the dogs out of pocket for growling right now while we're trying to wrap up this episode? Where did you guys choose and why did you choose the place you live? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Should Catherine go to New York? Let us know in the comments below. Where can they leave their comments, like, and subscribe at?
Yeah, so you can find us at Unsolicited Counseling Podcast on Facebook. You can find us at Unsolicited Counseling on YouTube and Instagram. And you can shoot us an email at uadvicepodcast@gmail.com. Boom.
Awesome, guys. And please keep an eye out for Patreon. It should be coming out, if not by the end, in a couple of weeks, but by the end of the first month of the year. So keep an eye out. As always, guys, we love you guys. We're here for you guys. One drink at a time, one episode at a time. Be easy, y'all.
Latest.
Punching out.